I'm excited. This is a very robust agreement. It's a comprehensive agreement. It includes continued education reforms, it cuts taxes, and it is an unprecedented package that protects tenants. I'll highlight several points, but again, the details will wait until the leaders speak to their respective conferences. There will be a 4-year rent extension with increases in the decontrol threshold and what's called indexing to the Rent Guidelines Board to increase the threshold over years. There will be a property tax rebate program, which is part of this. It's targeted to upstate New York and to the suburban communities for $1.3 billion, which is a significant property tax rebate program. It will mean hundreds of dollars to homeowners in upstate New York. We wanted additional resources and protection for non-public schools. We had proposed the education tax credit as a vehicle to do that. The education tax credit would have provided about $150 million to non-public schools. In this agreement, we'll provide $250 million to non-public schools for what's called mandated services reimbursement. 421A is an affordable housing program. It will be extended for 6 months. Within those 6 months, the representatives of labor and representatives of the real estate community will be asked to come up with an agreement on prevailing wage. If they come up with an agreement on prevailing wage, the program will continue for 4 years, which is linked to the rent agreement, which is 4 years. If they don't come up with an agreement in 6 months, the program will expire. So that is the affordable housing program. In closing, this was a very difficult year. There were extraordinary developments. I don't think you can find another year in the state's history where you saw the number of changes and the major changes that were made during the legislative year, the change in leadership, et cetera. And it was almost unimaginable to have this kind of change in this period of time. You wound up with 2 new leaders, both brought in at the 7th inning, if you will, and handed the ball and told to pitch. It is a significant transition to become a leader of a conference rather than a member of a conference. They both were tenacious for their interests, and they have very different interests, but they were also prudent enough to arrive at a conclusion that allows enough mutuality to actually make an agreement. And that's what we have done. And kudos go to them both. And I mean that sincerely.